Hey guys, it's Phil, and in today's video, I'm going to put you on the spot because I'm going to ask you a very simple question. When you bought your GS or GS Adventure like I have, and you looked in the cockpit and you saw that empty cradle staring at you, what did you think? If you're like me, you're like, I got to put something in there. And you're like, what goes in there? Oh wait, on the shelf over there, that Nav 6, Garmin Navigator 6, I should buy that and I should put that in this cradle, and then all is well in the world, right? BMW is actually a genius for providing something with an opening and then providing that thing which goes in the opening. $1,000. 4 years later, was it worth it? It's debatable. I really haven't navved anywhere with the Nav 6 a couple times. It's super clunky, not very customizable, but it does fill a hole, and it's like, well, I got the thing I should get. Enter the topic of today's video. Not the Nav 6, but the WunderLINQ. So the WunderLINQ from Black Box Embedded is a little black box, no pun intended, that sits in the existing cradle of your BMW, which allows you to utilize your phone, iPhone 15 for me, or your tablet as the device that interfaces with your bike. So in other words, you've got cradle, WunderLINQ, phone, and guess what? You can still utilize the wheel to control the data that's on the screen. That's their key selling point, is it's customizable and you get to still use the wheel. You don't have to lean forward and swipe and touch while you're riding. I've been using it for about 2 months here in Colorado, and today I want to talk a little bit about how I use it and my initial thoughts, because for $250, that's right, $250, I don't get anything for selling this stuff. I'm not selling it for them. I'm just saying $250 is awesome. Quarter the price of the Garmin, you get a very customizable little device that's super cool to have, super cool to ride with in my experience. So speaking of ride with, I've ridden all around Colorado. I would say all around, not border to border, but I've done hours and hours. And one of the key questions I've gotten is, does the screen stay lit? Well, first thing to know is there's a USB that plugs into your phone or tablet so it stays charged while you're riding. And at maximum brightness, my phone never shut off. It stayed like at full brightness. Super cool, no problems there. The other thing is that when you're on the wheel, you can scroll left and right through the main menus and then pick what you want to do. Now, if you're like me, which I'm a pretty simple guy when I ride, I like navigation occasionally. I do like music. I might take a call or two, no big deal. The other thing that they have is, a weather app. So you can click while you're riding, open up real-time weather, and then you can see like the precipitation moving in. Oh, I got to pull over and put my parka on if you're riding in layers like I do sometimes. So that's really neat. They also have GoPro control functions, waypoint functions. I'm thinking navigate to point function, take a selfie function, all sorts of things that are very customizable. You don't just get one thing and that's it. You can customize all the things that you want to show on the screen. So when you're talking data points while riding, that screen is customizable. There's all these cool data points, right? So I like to see G-force, lean angle, which I was doing a 67-degree lean angle on this bike while cornering recently. Just kidding. Actually, it was probably like 90 degrees when I dropped it and slid down the road, but we're not talking about that. But yeah, all these cool data points, you press and hold on the screen, and you can scroll up and down and see what you want to do. What do you want to include? What do you want to see while you ride? You can go all the way down and just have speed, or you can go all the way out, right? And then you get used to it while you're riding. You look and say, oh, I want to see this, and whatever. There's a white screen for day, a dark screen for night. I kind of like the dark screen when I ride. It just looks cooler, and it abides with rule 1, which is always look cool. So we've established so far the price point's awesome. It's pretty customizable. The other thing I want to share is, also that it works with the wheel, but that you have access to the developers, right? I had Keith on my podcast recently. He came, and I'll link to that. And we talked for over an hour about the whole development of this, how they reverse engineered a BMW emulator to create this device in their garage, Keith and Wayne. So I'll link to the podcast, but he talks about the future of this device, which involves BMWs, Triumphs, and other bike manufacturers, and not necessarily involving a cradle. Really cool. They talk about CarPlay integration, which I know CarPlay is huge. So if you want to listen to that whole podcast, I'll link to it. Keith is an incredible guy, very smart. I think it's worth listening to that if you're interested in the WunderLINQ. So anyways, yeah, you have access to the developers, and I think that's important, right? There were a couple times when I rode and I was like, well, what's this thing or what's that thing? And I shot Keith an email and he's like, oh, hold on. Or he would tweak something, send me an update, or he'd explain it to me. Try doing that with Carpurite, or try doing that with Garmin, right? You have access to the guys here in Colorado, and I think Wayne's in California, that created this and that can make those changes or updates in real time. That's huge. That's a huge advantage for a device that only costs $250. So here's my disclaimer. Am I saying that this device, the WunderLINQ device, is absolutely flawless and perfect 12 out of 10. That is not what I'm saying. Absolutely not. But I don't think anything is. This isn't 10 out of 10. The Garmin Nav 6 surely isn't 10 out of 10. But what I am saying is that if you have any issues or concerns, or you're like, I can't figure it out, you can email Keith and Wayne and they will help you out. They have a vested interest in making sure you understand this. And that leads to the second part. This bird's trying to steal my thunder up here. Can you hear the bird? But there is a little bit of a learning curve to this device, right? It's not like with the Nav 6, I just slammed it in the cradle and it was good to go. This one, I kind of read the directions a little bit. I had to 10, 15, 20 minutes just to make sure I understood what I was doing, what I wanted to use while riding and how it functioned. So just don't think that you're just going to slam it in the cradle and it's going to work. Maybe it does for you, but I want to also say there is a little bit of a learning curve associated with this. All right, guys, so that pretty much wraps up the video. If you have any questions or comments, drop them down in the comments section and I'll get Keith to check them out and reply if you have anything specifically related to the WunderLINQ. Otherwise, I've enjoyed making this video. I've enjoyed testing this device. And if you have enjoyed the content you got here, you know the deal. I'm going to ask you to like and subscribe and leave a comment anyways below. I've been out for a couple weeks. I've been out riding, testing, doing some things, and I really enjoy what I do. I really enjoy bringing this content to you in a hyper-competitive adventure market. I'm enjoying bringing this device to you as an alternative to much more expensive, much less user-friendly devices. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.